The main character of the story is Yuna, a girl who is very passionate about VR games, and she comes to it to change her boring life. Once when logging into the game, Yuna was given an item chest by the system based on her playing time in the past year, and she picked up a bear suit with stats that increased based on level of the user. Continuing to enter the game, Yuna panicked when she saw that her account had been downgraded to level 1, and she couldn't exit the game anymore. Soon after, Yuna received a letter of death, and she learned that she had been transported to another world. Thanks to the tremendous power of the bear suit, Yuna was able to defeat a pack of wolves and rescue a little girl named Fina. To help Yuna sell the loot from the wolves, Fina helped Yuna filter the wolf meat, then she led Yuna to a town called Crimonia, and they sold the loot to them. A man named Gents. Fina took Yuna on a tour of this city, and everyone was surprised to see Yuna's bizarre bear outfit. In order to earn money to support herself, Yuna went to the town hall to register as an adventurer, but a scar-faced guy made fun of her outfit, so she beat him up. Smug, causing all the other adventurers to fear her. After Fina's father died, Gents was the one who took care of Fina and her daughter, along with a younger sister. He wanted to ask Yuna to hire Fina to be her monster filter, and she happily agreed since she couldn't do it herself anyway. However, the amount of monsters she hunted was so great that Fina alone couldn't keep up with it, and the guild had to ban her from hunting for a while, because with her hunting speed, the creatures around sooner or later will become extinct. Scarface's group wanted to go out and kill a bunch of goblins, but they didn't have enough members, because he was currently recovering from being hit by Yuna, so the receptionist asked Yuna to help her group. Yuna reluctantly accepted and she went on a mission with Lorena, a member of Scarface's team. When she reached the goblins' lair, Yuna shot fire into their cave and then blocked the entrance with a trick, with the goal of suffocating them in the cave. However, the Goblin King was still alive after the attack, so she had to take real action to take it down. After Yuna's feat of defeating the Goblin Cave alone, people in the city started calling her a bloody bear. Yuna is already leveled enough to summon a black bear to aid her in battle, and soon, she discovers that she can summon another white bear, but the white seal was angry because she didn't summon it first. Thanks to the two bears, the amount of monsters they hunted increased, so Yuna decided to build a bear house so that Fina could have a more spacious place to work. A frightened boy ran to the Adventurers Guild to ask everyone to save his village from a black snake, but no insurer dared to accept this quest, as taking down a black snake was too much for him. Thinking that all hope was lost to save the boy's village, Yuna stepped forward to accept the mission. Seeing Yuna's silly bear outfit, the boy didn't think she could defeat the snake, but after a bit of persuasion he had to let her do the task. When she reached the village, Yuna faced the black snake alone, and her magic couldn't penetrate its tough scales. However, Yuna used earth magic to make the snake unable to close its mouth, and then she shot fire magic straight into its mouth to kill it from the inside. The people of the village were overjoyed when they heard that Yuna had defeated the black snake, and they held a party that night to celebrate the event. The next morning, Yuna was treated to a meal of fried eggs by the village chief, and she learned that eggs are very expensive, because the technique of raising chickens is not common in this world. Soon after, Yuna left the village to return to the town, and all the adventurers were surprised to learn that she had defeated a giant black snake. Fina had cut her hand after pecking at the black snake's steel hard skin, so Yuna used healing magic to heal her wound. The next day, the guild master informed Yuna that the lord of this town wanted to see her, but Yuna refused his invitation, as she thought the lords and nobles are all bad guys. However, Yuna still had to accept his invitation in the end, because she didn't want to be kicked out of the city. Turns out, the lord's daughter named Noor was a big fan of the bear sister, so he invited her over to play with her. While Noor was playing with the two bears, the lord asked Yuna to help him find a birthday present for the king, so Yuna gave the Goblin King's sword to him, much to his surprise. Glad that the Goblin King's sword is an extremely rare item. After leaving the lord's house, Yuna meets Fina standing in front of her house wearing rain, and she learns that Fina's mother is currently very ill. Fina took Yuna to her home to treat her mother, but Yuna's healing magic couldn't cure her. After thinking about it for a while, Yuna realized that Fina's mother's illness needed to be treated from the root, so she used the magic to remove the bad effects to completely remove the disease from her body, and Fina's mother recovered. During a walk around town, Yuna saw some children of the orphanage begging for food in the street, Yuna bought them some food, and after going to the orphanage when she did some research, she learned that the support for the orphanage had been cut off by the Lord not long ago, so the children had to go out to the streets to ask for food from others. Remembering that chicken eggs in this town are a rare commodity, Yuna decided to help the orphanage by setting up a chicken farm, and the children will be able to work here so they can make a living. They would sell eggs in Crimonia town to earn money to maintain the orphanage, and Yuna invited Fina's mother to be the manager of the farm. Sometime later, the Lord approached Yuna to ask why she refused to sell eggs to his family, but Yuna soon said that the main reason was because he had cut them. Monthly allowance for this orphanage. As soon as he returned home, the Lord discovered that one of his subordinates had been corrupting the pension of the orphanage, so he had his entire family arrested. The Lord went to the orphanage to apologize to everyone for his mismanagement, and promised that he would continue to send subsidies to the orphanage, so Yuna happily forgave him. Fina's mother accepts Jens's proposal, but the next day, the two of them quarrel over a trivial breakfast. Fearing that their feelings will be broken, Fina wants to find a snowflake to mend their feelings. Yuna, Fina and Shuri, Fina's sister, went up the mountain together to look for snowflakes, but they couldn't find a single flower here. Depressed, Shuri found a bird stuck on the ground, and after saving that bird, it left the three of them a beautiful feather, so the two children decided to use the feather as a gift for Jens and their mother. However, when he got home, Jens and her mother made up, but when he received the feather, Jens realized that it was similar to the feather that the father of the two children used to carry, making him and his mother Fina's as very touching, and Jens promises that he will be a father to the two of them. After solving Fina's family matter, Yuna used eggs to make puddings, and they were loved by many people in the city. Yuna and Fina have taken on the task of escorting Noor to the royal capital to attend the king's birthday. While resting in the middle of the road, Noor was looking forward to camping around the fire with everyone, who expected the bear sister to throw out an entire bear house from her gloves, and she later cooked for two child a very delectable meal of minced meat. The next day, Yuna accidentally saved Count Gran along with his niece Masana, and Masana was also a friend of Noor. Everyone then went to the royal capital together, and when they arrived, Noor's mother ran out to greet the three of them. Noor's mother appeared here because she was working in the king's castle, and Noor's older sister Shia was also attending a school in the capital. Not believing that a young person like Yuna was an adventurer, Shia challenged the bear sister to a duel, and she was defeated by the bear sister. Although it was quite sad after being defeated, Shia quickly regained her spirits thanks to the delicious pudding of the bear sister. The next day, Yuna found out that there were potatoes and cheese on the market, so she bought it and made the Lord's family a hamburger and fries. Noticing Yuna's cooking skills, people suggested that she open a restaurant to serve these dishes, but the bear sister only likes to eat, not to cook. During a small outdoor party with everyone, Yuna also tried to make a pizza for them. Immediately after eating, Noor's mother took Yuna to the king's castle to visit, and Yuna met little Princess Flora there. Meanwhile, Noor takes Fina and Masana to receive some membership cards she ordered, and announces that they will form a bear fan club together, but Noor also instructs two of his friends. I have to keep this a secret from my sister. A man named Gulzam attacked the royal castle, and he informed the king that he was going to command an army of monsters to attack the royal capital for revenge. We disappear into the void. The king revealed that Gulzam was once a royal magician, but he used prisoners to experiment with dark magic, so the king expelled him from the capital. On the way to pick up the Lord, Yuna realized that there were a large number of monsters lurking in the forest, so she handled them with her own hands, and her entire battle was covered by the royal mage. Saw it and reported it to the king. Seeing that the army of monsters he had built up was defeated by a strangely dressed girl, Gulzam angrily ordered a giant earthworm to attack Yuna, but she fired fire magic to set it on fire, then used bare fist to punch him in the mouth. Soon after, the Lord also arrived safely, and he had Gulzam tied up. The king learned of Yuna's exploits through the report of the royal mage, so he summoned her to the royal castle to declare the merits in front of the people, but the bear sister refused because she could not love fame. Yuna's pudding was included in the menu for the king's birthday party, and it seems he and his guests really enjoyed them. Yuna and Fina decided to go buy some bread before going back to Crimonia town, but the bakery they used to frequent had to close down due to default. In order to help the mother and daughter who own a bakery, Yuna decides to open a restaurant in town to sell her food, and she will hire them to work for a high salary. As soon as she returned to town, Yuna took care of all the paperwork with the merchant guild, and she also asked Fina's mother to be the manager of her restaurant. When they arrived in Crimonia town, the bread seller and mother were surprised to see the Bear sisters' big restaurant, and the two learned that this place was once the residence of a noble. Yuna also took the children from the orphanage to work in the cave, and the children's work uniforms were bear suits. On the first day of opening, Yuna's restaurant had to serve an extremely large number of customers that even the bear had to roll up her sleeves and know how to work. Later that day, they celebrated a successful opening day with puddings, and the Lord Father and Son also went to the restaurant to congratulate the bear sister. Yuna realized that there wasn't any kind of seafood in Crimonia town, so she thought there must be no port town around here. However, when she went to the summit to find out, she discovered that right next to Crimonia there was also a port town called Malella, but the two sides did not often exchange goods because of a very snowy mountain range high in the middle that separates the two towns. Yuna decides to cross the mountains to the town of Malella for seafood, and she saves a couple from fainting in the mountains. According to the couple, they were on their way to Crimonia to buy food because the town of Malella was facing a shortage of food right now. A band of bandits are also blocking all roads leading from Malella to other towns, so they can't import food on the ground either. Yuna brought the couple back to the town of Malella, and she realized that the state of the place was very, very unstable. The merchant guild here still had some food in reserve, and the merchant president had sold that amount of food at a very high price, but since there was nothing to eat, the people still had to buy food from him. In order to support the people here, Yuna went to the town's adventurer guild president Atla, and offered to provide enough wolf meat for the entire town. The amount of wolf meat that Yuna provided was given to everyone by the Adventurers Guild for free, and thanks to that, the famine was temporarily solved. That night, two people broke into Yuna's house to assassinate her, but they were quickly beaten by the bear sister. After learning that these two were the bandits, Yuna shot them and led her back to the lair, and she easily cleared the entire gang. After hearing that the bandits were captured and the roads were reopened, the Merchant Guild president suddenly panicked and grabbed all his possessions to escape, but he was stopped by Atla and his wife. With the Adventurers Guild, it turned out that he was the one who took advantage of the difficult situation of the town and bribed the bandits blocking the way in and out of the town so that he could sell expensive food to the people at will. After dealing with the bandits, Yuna spent many days still unable to think of a way to approach the Kraken because it was too far away. After having a hot pot meal at the house of the couple she saved, Yuna suddenly came up with a way to defeat the giant squid. Yuna used a giant earthworm to lure the squid into the bay, and when the Kraken was completely inside, Yuna used earth magic to imprison it and repeatedly fired fire magic at it inside the gulf to attack it. The moment the squid was completely defeated, Yuna also fainted from exhaustion. After defeating the Kraken, life in the town of Malella returned to normal, and Yuna finally enjoyed her first seafood meal since she came to this world. To enable the two towns to trade, Yuna used magic to dig a tunnel through the snowy mountain, and the leaders of the two towns met to discuss long-term business. After that, Yuna decided to take the Fina sisters to the town of Malella for a trip, and on the way they saw a bear statue placed outside the tunnel to commemorate the bear's merits. When they passed through the tunnel, the children got to see the sea for the first time in their lives, and the bear sister took them on a tour of the beautiful city for the whole day. Thank you for watching this anime review video. I will leave the other videos of the channel here. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the bell button to get notified of the latest videos coming soon.